Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to show off the counselor now. This is the how-to for the counselors. So, first up, I think the most important thing I should explain is what all these stats actually do. You would think repair is pretty self-explanatory, but it kind of isn't. So, yes, repair increases how easy it is to do repairs and how fast you can do them. It's just repair also changes kind of how you have to work with it. Yes, it increases how fast it is and it takes away a lot of the skill checks, which I'll show you after this little bit, but it also fucks with your speed, so you can sometimes fail the skill check because it's moving a bit too fast. But nonetheless, we'll go right on in. And here's what repair does. As you can see, it brings up that. It brings up a wheel.
Repair.
You get like one or two skill checks, you solve it, and you're done. But that's if you have maxed. So you gotta have max repair to be able to do it that fast and that easy. And
alright, then we'll go ahead and cover you.
We need to cut to Tommy Jarvis.
and
Can I
this
take the
is
machete?
the kind of skill checks you should expect.
Tommy
You
Jarvis.
can have
Yes.
a time
Okay, of course, Tommy Jarvis.
This is the kind of shit
let's
you'll
go.
expect
Tommy
if you have low
Jarvis.
repair. Normally, it's a lot more skill checks than this, but this is low repair.
Huh?
You like that, asshole?
Not really. Not really.
Okay, I think-
unexpected.
Alright, so that was what the repair skill did. So that was like the only one that I can tell you right now you would need to know in game. But as far as composure, this just slows down like how fast you get afraid. And really, this doesn't really do much, so I don't really want to like explain how this works. It just note that it doesn't really affect very much. What fear does is two things against you. It makes you trip more often, and it takes away a lot of your vision, which includes your map, your sense of color. It blackens the corners of your screen, making it more difficult to see in general. And how fear works is you lose your fear if you're in a house with lights and with friends. So if you're in a house just at all, that'll slow down how fast you're getting afraid. If you're in an area with lights, that'll stop you from constantly gaining fear unless Jason's near you. And if you're with a friend, it also stops it. And what I mean by stops is that like you regenerate your courage over time. So it's like all you have to do is not being in an environment that's constantly affecting you with fear. As Jason, what you want to do is break the electrical boxes, make sure they're alone, and get them outside. If you have all three of that, and they're always in the dark, then their fear is going to hit them super hard. What that's going to do is that's going to take away their mini-map, which makes it harder for them to know who you're going after when you shift, and it hurts you in the same regards, because now you can't really plan out anything. Your stealth, you would think this means like you can't be seen by Jason, but all it does is it turns down the noise and has a higher chance to avoid being detected by his sense. But with max stealth, that still doesn't really change anything. Also, the higher your fear level, the lower your stealth matters. So, you're less stealthy, the more afraid you are. The next thing we got up here is if you put on all the perks up here to use for stealth, you can actually make stealth amazing. As long as you're not afraid, you can do really good. So with high stealthy characters such as AJ, Mitch Floyd, and Debra, it's an okay idea to try to use stealth perks with them because they have a good enough stealth to do it. And strength, this doesn't mean you like necessarily only deal more damage, but what it does is it also like increases like the chances to stun somebody, increases or decreases the cost of stamina to swing, and it uses a very little stamina anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I mean, having less stamina being spent anyways, no matter how small it may be regardless, is still nice to have that little bit of stamina back. And it also increases your damage. So, I mean, it does all three of that. So, your speed, just generally across the board, how fast you move. So how fast you walk, how fast you jog, how fast you run, that's all changed by speed. And stamina, just, I like to think of it as it increases how big your red bar is, but other people like to say that it just decreases how slow it drains. But it's just kind of however way you want to look at it. Either way isn't wrong. Just you have more of the red bar. Luck makes it so that how your weapons work is when you hit Jason, it does a random effect of damage to your weapon, and taking enough damage will break your weapon that you're using. Luck decreases how much damage that can go up to and favors lower more often. So Chad, with his 10 out of 10, means you're not going to break your fucking bat ever, or anything, ever. It's going to take like 8 hits to do it. So that's 8 stuns you get from one bat. That's pretty good. Luck also increases the chances of not getting hurt when you go through a window. Luck increases how fast you can get out of a bear trap. Like the E-mash thing. But, yeah. Luck also, actually, no, that's all that luck does. Sorry. Composure, now. Composure does 2 things that I know of. It manages your fear level, so it takes longer to get afraid, and you have to stack certain scenarios in order to get them afraid at a decent amount of time. So which means you have to turn off the lights, you have to get them alone, and you gotta get them like outside, and you gotta be near them all the time. If you stack all 4 of that as Jason, you're gonna, even somebody like Jenny will get afraid pretty fucking fast. Composure, for its second thing that it does, is it makes it easier to break out of Jason's grasp. It makes that E prompt a lot less E's that you have to actually push. So it's actually a drastic difference. I would show it, but Jasons don't actually let you fucking get out. Most of them will actually spam the 1 through 4. So in a way, it's kind of pointless. But if there's a guy actually trying to go for an environmental kill, you can stack it with 2 different perks. 1, where you get like a bunch of stamina after you break out of his grasp, and 2, where it's just requires even less amount of ease to push to break out of his grasp. So you combine those 2 perks, and if you get grabbed, if they're trying to go for environmental kill at all, you'll break out of it. Because they won't make 3 steps. Like, you'll break out that fast. And yeah. I think I've explained everything, so now I'll explain how you're supposed to play each character. First up, we'll start with Bugsy, because we're on him anyways. With Bugsy, he has high stamina, high strength, and high speed. Meaning, he's a good runner if you like to run and avoid getting hit by Jason, and you like to, like, avoid shift grabs and all that. And his strength is at the max, which means he has the highest chance, just playing him in general, to stun Jason and deal as much damage as you can to Jason. So what I like to do when I play my Bugsy is accompanying him with stun chance increase perks, just so that whenever I pick up a weapon, I'm usually guaranteed to stun Jason. Usually. It's around like a 80 to 75% chance that if I hit you with anything, it's going to stun you, including something stupid like a fire poker or a frying pan. But then again, it also changes based on what rarity your Soccer Punch is and how good it is. What is Soccer Punch? This is Soccer Punch. It increases your mine is it's a rare, so mine increases it by 20% stun chance, but my sprint speed is decreased by 3%. I figured 3% isn't really that big of a fucking deal, so who fucking cares? And that 20%, that's pretty good. That's about like 1/4 for the chance to, do it on top of his max strength. So he's pretty much going to stun whoever with whatever. So I run that, and I either run Swift Attacker, which increases how fast you can melee swing, Again, I have it on rare. It's 15% and 0% damage reduction, so that's awesome. What melee speed does, that is also affected by the speed kind of strength. Changes how fast you can swing your weapon and get out of it, how fast you can go through your fixed animation and get out of it, which is really crucial. Using that makes it so that you can't just, Jason can't just do that little dodge I talked to you guys about to avoid getting hit. Using this, you can just like try to hit and you'll bounce back out before he can actually land the grab, which is pretty good. I'll either run something like this or I'll go a thick-skinned, and that is a 20% damage resistance, which I like to think of it as thick-skinned just increases your health, like your general how many hits it takes to kill you by slashing you with either throwing knives or just hitting you with his weapon by 20%. So it sounds pretty good, but most Jasons go for grabs. So that's where this perk can be a bit useless, but it's still nice to have this because if they try to slash you, that means you, unless they have weapon strength, you can survive an extra 2 hits before you get thrown into injured state, which is very good. And what does it mean through window terminology? Instead of jumping through 3 windows before you'll go into injured state, you can jump through an extra 1 window. So 4 windows you can jump through before you'll actually get injured if you run a thick skin like this. But you run a risk of increased stumble, which stumble is that tripping that I talked to you about when you get too afraid. And then I always run heavy hitter. If I find a baseball bat, which is something everybody's looking for all the time anyways. Why? The baseball bat, if you hit Jason with it, it's a 90% chance you'll stun them. It used to be a 100% guarantee, but now it's 90% because they wanted to give Jason a chance to not get stunned by it. If you don't believe me, I made a part 8 video where I actually got hit in the middle of a doorway by a baseball bat and I did not get stunned. So I have video evidence that it doesn't always stun you. But now that I combined it with Soccer Punch, it will always stun you. It's actually a higher chance to stun you. It's 110% now because I increased it by 20. So if I find a baseball bat, it's a guaranteed stun for me. And if I stun you with it, I've increased your stun time by 31%, which is a huge fucking thing. It's like take 1/3 of your bar, like cut that E smash bar into 3s, and imagine taking 1/3 of that and just adding it on top of the bar that it already is. Like, that's a big fucking hit on you. So that buys you a good, like, 3 seconds, 4 seconds on top of like stunning him for 3 to 4 seconds. So you got about an 8-second stun you hit him with. This doesn't sound like a lot, but in this game, how fast-paced it is, it's a lot. And that's how I usually like to build my Bugsy. Just a perfect stunning machine. I exploited his strengths, and how you want to play him is never, ever go for repairs as Bugsy. As you've seen before, my repair was so shit, I barely could, like, get down to half. It's really bad. Skill checks become tiny, they become a lot more frequent, and the needle moves super slow, which means, you know, even if you do land it all, you're taking forever to put that battery in. It's just easier for everybody all around to have somebody who has 10 fucking repair. As you play the game or watch this video, you'll find out who has high repair, who doesn't, and you want to give the battery or gas or fuse to these people so that they can get the shit done. There's usually only like 2 to 3 skill checks with somebody with 10 out of 10 repair. And they repair pretty fucking fast, as you've seen in that one video. Next up we got AJ. I kind of took off her perks. I don't know why. Her composure's pretty good, and her stealth is maxed. So if you play AJ, it's pretty much a good idea if you play AJ to run like sense of evasion perks. So my usual perk build with him, or her, sorry, will be level-headed, so that like I have sense evasion just all the time. homebody so that I have sense evasion just being inside a house. And then I'll run a low profile so that if I'm crouching, I have sense evasion. So now as long as I'm in a house crouching, I have like a 45-50% chance to not get seen with his sense, and that stacks on top of stealth. So if my stealth is maxed, that increases it by another like 20 to 30%. So it's probably, we're looking at an 80% chance to not get seen with his sense. A lot of people say, well, that's kind of pointless because he can just keep hitting fucking sense until he sees you, right? Yeah, but there is occasions where I get away because of those perks, where I've done that, and I can loot the house, and he doesn't know I'm even there. And as long as I'm just crouching and moving about, I can do that. And sometimes you don't even need your home body. You can go outside and crouch as you move around, and you'll have like around a 40 to 50% chance around there with all of that, as long as you're not afraid. And you have a good chance to not get seen with his sense, and you can just move about outside without getting seen. Then again, it's a 50-50 chance. So you're rolling a dice here. Or flipping a coin here, sorry. That's a better terminology. If it lands on heads, you're fucking dead. If it lands on tails, you get out. But since you would die either way, might as well flip that coin, right? So that's how I like to build her. She's got okay repair, so she's kind of like the character that if you need to put shit in, her luck is terrible. Don't fight with her. And her strength is terrible, so which means you will barely ever get any stuns with this person unless you run perks to enhance your stun chances. And your luck's so bad that you'll actually break your weapons a lot. Your speed's pretty terrible and your stamina's pretty terrible, which means you're relying on not getting seen. That's kind of your job as AJ's, relying on not getting detected. Your character is not good from outrunning Jason. Your character is not good from sustaining Jason. Your character is designed to hide. So if you see somebody who hides in a fucking locker for a long time and they're playing an AJ, don't bitch. They're playing their character. But if they sit in that locker from the start of the game to the end of the game, then yeah, okay, bitch, because they're not even trying. They're just trying to hide the whole game. And Chad, he's got amazing speed, amazing luck. Shit never breaks with this guy, but his composure is at the lowest, which means he gets afraid really fast and he takes the longest to get out of Jason's grasp. But since I don't really fucking care, if they wanted to kill you, they would just do it anyways. Most people see when they find a Chad, they'll like grab you and try to go for an environmental kill because they know they have enough time. His stamina's not really that great, but his speed's pretty good, so it makes up for it. You can go pretty far, pretty fast, without having to use that much stamina. His stealth is not too bad. With his stealth, like, you can pull off some stealthy encounterments, but you're not really that great. Your repair's terrible. You should never try to put anything in as Chad. But, I mean, if you want to go for a challenge, go for it. And your strength's not really that high, so you're not supposed to be able to stun that much. However, just run some fucking stun perks and you'll have a fair chance at stunning them. You just gotta use, like, the stunning chance weapons, such as wrenches, pipes, or baseball bats. That's kind of what you want to find as as Chad. What perks I like to run with him is basically the exact same shit I like to run with Bugsy. I'll go do this, just to be different. Just because, why not? You don't break shit. Then Jenny. She's got really good composure. I don't usually play her because people who see Jenny's usually just smash the fucking 1 through 4 buttons and kill you anyways, but she's got the best composure so she can break out of a grasp. Let's see here. I'll usually run that to get my stam back after, like, breaking out of a grasp. And, I guess I must have sold it, but I had a perk that you could break out of his grasp easier. I guess I'll run this, which gives you 2 med sprays per 1 med spray you find, so which doubles up your med spray. And I feel like I'll give her more stamina, because she's got okay stamina. Her luck's pretty good, so which means her weapons are pretty okay. So if you want to go a stun build with her, you can, and she can totally do it. But her strength is the lowest, so she'll have a hard time actually trying to get some stuns going. Her stealth's okay, so she can kind of hide, I guess, kind of. Her repair is terrible, don't try to repair with her. And her speed's not that great, so she can't really outrun people. And her stamina is average. Kenny, he's kind of the all-around guy. This is the kind of you play in the moment kind of character. It's kind of like he's a very flexible character. You can build him however you want. He doesn't really have any super strong strengths, but he doesn't have any super weak weaknesses. He's like a really good character that you can just mold, manipulate, and turn him into whatever kind of character you want him to be. He's the one character in the game that, really, it's up to you. It's just kind of like don't expect anything great to happen, but don't expect anything terrible to happen with him. Tiffani. Now I hate her to play her. I don't hate her to go up against her. And that's because her speed's not that great. Her stamina is amazing, and her stealth is really good. So you can hide. You can make a really good perk build for her. And if you need to run, you can do that. And you can do it for a pretty good amount of time. But here's why I don't like fucking Tiffani. Tiffani doesn't have enough speed to make her a runner class, in my opinion. Bugsy and fucking Vanessa are. She's basically a more fair version of Vanessa. But I'm not a runner player. I like to get shit done or stun Jason or contribute to the team in some way. I don't like hiding the whole game. So you'll mostly see me play something like a Chad, Bugsy, Debra, you know, something along those lines. Yeah, her strong suits are just basically running and hiding. There's not much else to tell you about her. Run and hide. Debra, she's got really good stealth, so if I need to hide, I can. I don't like to, but I can. She's got 10 out of 10 repair, so she's got amazing repair. Her composure is average, so she can maintain her fear on an average level. Her stamina's pretty freaking terrible, and her speed's pretty freaking terrible, so she's not really good about outrunning people. So you're constantly relying on houses or hiding with her. Her strength is actually garbage, so you don't ever want to try to pull some fucking maneuvers and stun people unless you really fucking need to, and your luck's pretty terrible, so all your weapons are going to be broken. So all in all, Debra, Kim, not a good player to use if you want to stun Jason or fight him. He's a really good fucking player if you want to get shit done and repair stuff. Vanessa, fucking hate her. She's got 10 out of 10 speed. Why is that bullshit? She's basically as fast as a car. No, that's not even a fucking joke. And with her stamina at 9, you put on one perk, Marathon, you'll have a 10 out of 10 stamina. Which means you are literally built for nothing else but to fucking waste Jason's time. Which pisses everybody off because they'll complain, if people on your team will always complain to you that you've done nothing when you can't do anything, and Jason will always bitch to you that you picked Vanessa just so that you can outrun players. And right now, I'm going to show you a build that everybody fucking does to be an asshole. They always do this, where you start with a med spray. They run this, where you have 2 med sprays at the fucking start. And then they run thick skin. Why is this a bullshit fucking perk setup? Windows means nothing to you. Throwing knives means nothing to you. Right from the fucking start of the game, it means nothing, because every time you're in injured state, you have 2 med sprays you can use right now, and you can heal once, and that gets you out of injured state. Now you can keep fucking doing it, waste more of his fucking throwing knives. When he's out, use your second one, and you're back to fucking normal. By around that time, you should have found a fucking bathroom, and you should have found another med spray, which will give you another 2 fucking med sprays, which means you can do that again. That's why I hate her, because I hate this character. She's just such a huge crutch. All you do is not die, but that's it. You don't get anything done. You can't really fight. Sure, your luck's pretty okay, which means you can like keep your weapons, but your strength is actually below average, which means you can't really fucking stun him for anything good unless you're using a wrench, pipe, or bat and using a stun perk, Which kind of 50-50% of the time you'll get somebody who does that. The other 50% of the time you'll get that fucking perk build, and I hate it. Her repair is shit, her stealth is shit, her composure is shit, so she gets afraid really fast, she can't put shit in the car, and she's making a hell of a lot of fucking noise, so you can just find her wherever. So, like I said, Vanessa, only good for wasting fucking killers' time, and I hate Vanessa. Like, honestly, they should really nerf the fucking speed on her. It's just a bit too fucking fast. Fox, one of the newer characters that have been added to the game, actually the newest character. She's the female character that's actually really good at fucking stunning Jason. Her repair is above average, so if you need to do some repairs, you can. Her strength is actually pretty desirable, so she can actually have a pretty good chance at stunning Jason and doing a lot of damage to Jason. Her composure is actually above average, so she can maintain her fear at an okay level. Her stamina is at average, and her speed is below average. So she's not really good of a runner, but I mean she can work with it pretty okay. Her stealth isn't terrible, but it's below average, and her luck is below average. It's kind of shit. I wouldn't say it's like workable, but I mean, as long as you're okay with breaking your weapons every now and then, and you can stun Jason, that's what he is. She's all about just fight Jason, get shit done if like Jason ignores her, and yeah. But she's not about running away. She's all about staying and fighting. And then Mitch Floyd, one of the newer characters that were added to the game. He's got really good composure, so you can maintain his fear pretty well, and he's got above average stealth. So he's another guy you're going to want to put like your stealth perks on, because that composure basically means you won't get fucking scared as long as you're in a house with lights in it. You just crouch and you'll be fine. Your stealth will help your perks out, and your composures will help your stealth out. So all around, you should have a good chance of not getting seen if you run stealth perks on Mitch Floyd and know how to use them. His repair is really good, so he's really good about putting shit in cars. Don't be afraid to if you're playing him. His stamina is below average, so I wouldn't recommend running everywhere. His strength's pretty fucking terrible, so don't try to fucking stun people. And his luck's pretty terrible, so he's not at all, in any sense, a good fucking character to run stun Jason. He's pretty terrible. And speed is pretty fucking low, which means he's not really good about running away. Adam. Adam's pretty good with his composure, so he can keep his fear at an okay level. His stamina is below average, so you don't really want to run all the time. His strength's really good, so you can stun Jason at an okay rate. His repair is above average, so you can still put shit in the cars if you need to. And his speed is at average, so he's very manageable. His stealth's not that great, and his luck's not that great. So, which means he can't really hide, and his weapons don't last very long. Choppa. Choppa has good stealth and good repair. That's pretty much it. Everything else is pretty much garbage. Except for luck. Luck is kind of eh. But Choppa, you only play him if you want to put shit in cars or repair shit and hide. That's all you do. You're playing the coward cheeseburger man. That's all Choppa is good for. And yeah, we're done. That's how you're supposed to play each and every player. Now I'm just going to give you some tips out there. If you're in a house and you find a bear trap, make it your goal to put the bear trap by the door. It doesn't require that much time or that much effort. You can just do it. It takes up about 4 seconds of your time to set it, but it gives you back 3 when you need it. So definitely do that. If you have the time, there's a bear trap in your house, might as well just pick it up, lock the door, bear trap the door. Not that hard. Do it. Why not? Also, if you see Jason following one of your teammates, a good idea for you to do is, even if you have something shitty like a fucking fire poker, go up and follow Jason. Don't hit him, just keep following behind him. If Jason grabs your friend, you're going to want to run over there and smack him in the back with that fire poker. What you're going to do is you're going to give your friend some more stamina. You're going to break him out of his grasp instantaneously, because it doesn't matter how good your strengths are, as long as you hit him, you'll break him out. And yeah, you're good. Also, another tactic to do. If you hear the terror music stop being played, that doesn't normally mean that Jason isn't there. He could just be using stock. If you hear him teleport and using, and there's no terror music, that doesn't mean he's not there as well. He could just morph on the spot and use stock. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to give it some time before you leave your house. You're going to want to play a mind game with him. Even if he did leave, you're going to want to just stay in that building and act and talk on the radio as if you knew he was doing that. 50% of the time, the guy will feel like he's fucking stupid and he'll just come out of hiding and try to break the windows and come after you. And you'll feel like a genius because you didn't actually fucking know he was there, but you convinced him into thinking that you did, so he revealed himself to you. Which is pretty good. The other 50% of the time he figures, well, maybe you don't actually know, maybe you're just talking shit, so they'll wait. So, it's just kind of play your odds. All this game is mind games. And last step is when you're driving a car, if you're driving a car, and you see Jason teleport on your minimap down in front of you. I know I fucked this up, but what I was trying to do was drive forward up to the point where I heard his terror music or I like see him on my map at all. And then the minute he disappears, you're going to want to back up. Because what that'll do is he'll try to like shift towards the front of the car to stop the car using his stock and shift to make it look like he just teleported on the spot to stop your car. It's a very risky move, but it usually works out using both your teleports to stop the car. Anyways, guys, that's been the video. I hope this helps you out in surviving. I hope this gives you a better idea of how you're supposed to play. Also, in case you guys didn't fucking know, X is to fucking jog, Z is to drop shit. I can't begin to tell you how many fucking times people didn't know that. Alright? If something's in your hand, hold Z. If something's in your inventory, tap Z. That's all you fucking need to know. But have a good one. As always, stay salty.